investigations will reveal that a lot of money, of public money, was used. And I said in this case, I am prepared to fall on the sword so that the CR17 campaign, yes, should be the only one that's looked at and not the others. Because the image of the African National Congress is what I am most concerned about. Each one of us knows that quite a bit of money that is used in campaigns, in passing people around, in doing all manner of things, is often from state resources and public resources. And we cannot kid ourselves when it comes to that. One of the officials said, as these people from the state security were testifying, one of the officials said,
a storm is tearing through South Africa's political landscape, and at the very center of it stands President Cyril Ramaphosa, the man who once promised to clean the nation of corruption, now caught in a leaked audio that suggests he may have used public funds to bankroll his own political campaign. For years, Ramaphosa presented himself as the beacon of integrity after the disastrous state capture era under Jacob Zuma. He stood before the nation, hand on heart, vowing to fight corruption wherever it hides. He promised transparency, accountability, and a new dawn. But now, with the shocking emergence of this recording, many South Africans are asking, was it all a lie? The leaked audio has thrown the presidency into chaos. In it, Ramaphosa reportedly admits to something that no leader should ever confess: the misuse of money that belongs to the people. Funds that should have gone to hospitals, schools, electricity, and housing may instead have been funneled into the dark corridors of internal ANC politics. And this revelation could change everything. To understand the depth of this betrayal, we need to rewind. In 2017, Ramaphosa rose to power within the ANC on a wave of promises. He portrayed himself as the antidote to the rot of Zuma-era corruption. He was the man of clean hands, the businessman who would restore dignity to the republic. His campaign slogan was renewal. His message, "Trust me, I will fight for you." But behind the curtain, it now appears a very different story was unfolding. Insiders whisper that the very campaign that put him in power may have been propped up not by goodwill, not by personal sacrifice, but by taxpayer money siphoned from the very people he swore to protect. Imagine that for a moment. While ordinary South Africans were suffering through rolling blackouts, water shortages, and unemployment, the president may have been using the nation's resources to secure his grip on power. If true, this isn't just corruption, it's betrayal at the highest level. What makes this scandal even more explosive is Ramaphosa's timing. Just days ago, he penned a message to the nation declaring that we must build a society in which corruption cannot take root. He spoke of transparency, accountability, and reform. Yet at the very same time, the leaked recording painted him as a leader who speaks against corruption by day and allegedly engages in it by night. The irony is suffocating. South Africans are asking, how can a man who claims to be the face of the anti-corruption fight be the same man caught confessing to corruption? How can the president lecture citizens about morality while his own hands appear dirty? The consequences of this revelation could be seismic. Ramaphosa's legitimacy is now hanging by a thread. Opposition parties are sharpening their knives, demanding answers, demanding accountability, and in some cases, even calling for his resignation. Civil society groups are outraged, declaring that this is proof that corruption is not an accident, but a system carefully maintained at the very top. And the people? They are angry. Social media is ablaze with fury and disappointment. For many, Ramaphosa was the last hope, the one leader who could finally rescue South Africa from decades of looting. Now, with this leak, that hope is cracking. One viral post captured the mood perfectly. Asterisk, if Ramaphosa is also corrupt, then we have no one left to trust. Asterisk. But let's be clear, this is not just about politics. This is about ordinary people's lives. Every rand misused for a political campaign is a rand stolen from an overcrowded hospital, Every cent diverted to protect a leader's career is a cent that could have kept the lights on in Eskom. Every hidden deal weakens the very foundations of a struggling democracy. Here lies the most important question. If the president himself is willing to misuse public funds, what hope is there for accountability at lower levels of government? How can municipalities, provinces, and departments be expected to act with integrity when the example from the top reeks of hypocrisy? Did you ever imagine we would reach this point, where the very man who preached a new dawn is now accused of pulling South Africa deeper into the night? Let us not forget the broader context. South Africa is still reeling from unemployment, poverty, crumbling infrastructure, and deep inequality. Every cent wasted at the top directly translates into deeper suffering at the bottom. It is the poor, the unemployed, the sick, and the vulnerable who pay the price for political games. And yet, Ramaphosa's defenders insist we must wait, that perhaps the audio has been taken out of context. They argue he is still better than the alternative, that his corruption is somehow less damaging than the corruption of others. But is that really justice? Is corruption acceptable just because it comes dressed in polite language and calm speeches? How would your community respond if it discovered that money meant for them was instead used to fund political power games? Would they sit quietly, or would they demand justice? This scandal is also a warning about the fragility of democracy. A leader who misuses public money for private gain undermines not just his own reputation, but the very foundation of trust upon which government stands. If citizens no longer believe their leaders, the system itself begins to collapse. Already, whispers of factional battles inside the ANC are growing louder. Rivals see Ramaphosa's weakness as an opportunity. And when a president is weakened, the entire state becomes unstable. Decisions stall, policies falter, and the focus shifts from serving the people to serving political survival. South Africa deserves better. It deserves leaders who treat public money as sacred, not as a campaign slush fund. It deserves transparency, not secrecy. It deserves action, not empty speeches written from the desk of a president who cannot live by his own words. The leaked audio is more than just a scandal. It is a mirror held up to the nation, forcing us to confront the question, have we been deceived by yet another leader who promised change but delivered more of the same? History will judge Cyril Ramaphosa not by the speeches he wrote, not by the promises he made, but by the actions he took, and by what the people believe when the microphones are turned off and the truth slips through in whispered confessions. So tonight, South Africa is left with a haunting question. Was the president ever truly fighting corruption, or was he simply fighting to keep corruption under his control? The people are watching. The world is watching. And as this story unfolds, one truth remains clear. South Africa cannot afford another chapter of betrayal. If you believe this story must be told, do not stay silent. Like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more powerful real-life stories exposing truth behind power. The future of South Africa depends on voices like yours refusing to accept